Chapter 42. Reconnaissance craft lost cabin pressure as it slammed into the runway, sparks trailing behind. It skidded, grinding to a deafening halt. 6 crewmen ran to the smoking wreckage of the craft, brandishing fire extinguishers. Miskovich breached the cockpit. As she emerged, she tore off her air filter mask, gulping in deep breaths of cold night air as smoke billowed behind. The craft was a total loss. There was an incessant crackling over her comm device. Report, being the only word making it through the garbled transmission. Most of the devices in her cockpit were shattered or shorted out. She evacuated, running to the command base. Pierre Gonzalez and a skeleton crew awaited her inside. Red strobing alarm lights emanated through the huge communications auditorium. "You're all right. God, crewman, get to the medic," Gonzalez ordered. "No, I'm fine. I was attacked. If I hadn't gotten out of the way of the immediate blast range, I saw the whole thing and it looks like Mr. Blue was right. Whoever or whatever the hell that man is. We need to detonate now, sir." Miskovich smeared blood and soot off of her face. Gonzalez snapped his fingers. "How long do we have?" One of the other crewmen in the communications control room shouted from a workstation. 2 hours! "That's not quick enough for you?" Miskovich shook her head. "I think you need to order an airstrike." The supervisor looked at the burned and bloodied pilot incredulously. "There are 4 people up there, with the reprogrammable architectural production and infrastructure devices gone insane. I was there. The nanotech bots attacked me. This entire situation needs to be contained now, before it gets worse. I've already deployed a recovery craft with a military attaché vehicle to retrieve them and evacuate, leaving the rapids there. The countdown will proceed as normal." "Regardless of the fact that we don't know who's in control of the countdown?" Miskovich seemed to concede recovering the stranded people up in the midpoint, but her supervisor could tell she wanted the entire thing destroyed now. Pierre Gonzalez leered at her, seeing frustration and anger in her eyes that could lead to more, ever more, catastrophic mistakes. "Regardless, crewmen, and the public need not know about it either. The implosion will happen according to the time we've been allotted, no earlier." "You're making a mistake." The battered pilot turned to leave, heading to the medical bay. Gonzalez shook his head. "Second time I've been told that." He sighed, long and loud. "I don't think this day is ever going to end."
"Gah! I wish Sabo were here," Mr. Blue complained. "Pretty sure she's done the whole first contact thing."
He was inputting data into his temporal wrist device as the Rapid continued their strange, complex, intricate designs and patterns in the air in front of him.
"So what just happened?"
Pete asked.
"Yeah, what was that? Did that ship have somebody in it?"
Dawn asked. Her hands were pressed against the enormous reinforced glass bay windows of the lobby. She had watched, along with her brother Pete, as crewman Miskovich struggled with her damaged vessel down through the atmospheric re-entry.
"That was a bad attempt at a rescue,"
the time traveler in the blue suit explained.
"They seem to think that they are in control of these rapids. I don't believe the surface knows they're a living civilization of explorers. And that," he pointed out the window, "was the surface trying to imprison the little bots while getting a good look at us. We're quite the anomaly, not supposed to be here and all."
Sully crossed his arms.
"So the quarantine was bogus? Whomever controls this midpoint wanted people out because they knew they were losing control of these rapid creatures?"
Mr. Blue nodded.
"Perhaps. Easy enough to just destroy the hotel and cover up the misdeed of enslavement rather than fix the problem."
The Time Lord shook his head.
"But it's never really that easy. From what I've gathered."
He typed more onto his fancy watch. Suddenly, a drilling sound pierced the air, causing all present to wince in pain.
Please turn down your amplification audio frequency.
A combined gathering of voices, gnarled and low, instructed yet seemed to be coming from everywhere at once.
Ah, damn it, Mr. Blue continued fiddling. Why does this thing never work?
Yes, old man. This sounds familiar.
Sully immediately thought of the black cat on Earth, the Urbano form, as Mr. Blue had called it. How it sounded like the voice of a whole crowd of people. The Time Lord's wrist device crackled and sparked.
Oh!
Mr. Blue patted out a bit of flame and smoke from his cobalt tie.
There we are. Can you hear me now?
Sully took off his glasses and rubbed his eyes.
Affirmative.
A rush of high-pitched, robotic voices answered.
We are the Rapid Collective. We need to evacuate you from this premises, as there is a detonation sequence underway.
Mr. Blue threw his arms in the air.
Are you serious? This whole time, you've been trying to get us to leave?
The rapids swirled and swarmed rapidly in complicated fractals.
Affirmative.
Dawn ran to the tiny artificial life forms. Just stop the hotel from blowing up, please.
Impossible,
came the response in a million microscopic voices.
Why?
Sully demanded angrily.
For God's sakes, why?
The rapids slowed to a halt.
Because it is not initiated by us.
Pete looked back and forth between the Time Lord in the azure suit and the cloud of tiny, if seemingly innumerable, robotic life forms. If it wasn't either of you...
Or anyone on the surface?
Sully helped the boy speculate. Mr. Blue slowly nodded.
Then who? Who wants this bloody hotel destroyed? Preferably with the rapids inside while it implodes.
Millions upon millions of the rapids, in a single voice, answered.
Unknown.